This is evidence for the Toys for Tots investigation into the Friends of Oceano Airport and former supervisor Lynn Compton and current running for County Board of Supervisor Adam Verdin and other accomplices that I'll mention in this video. This video is just for a visual aid because it's a very important element for intent, to prove intent for the crime of setting up and administering a fake Toys for Tots drive to funnel money to political organizations, including Lynn Compton's campaign and anybody that supported the Friends of Oceano Airport. The ringleader, the biggest ringleader of this all, is Jolie Lucas, Friends of Oceano Airport, and her former husband is a minor ringleader because obviously he's no longer in the picture. But they started this Toys for Tots campaign many years ago, I think around 2008. There's so much evidence online. It's undeniable. And the reason why they started the campaign is because people wanted to develop on this airport. Okay, so Jolie Lucas and her husband started the Friends of Oceano Airport to stop people from shutting down the airport, not necessarily developing on it, but shutting it down, because she is a pilot, and so is Adam Verdin. He's a pilot. He learned to fly at this airport. That's his association with this Toys for Tots fake toy drive to redirect cash donations and perhaps other in-kind donations to political entities that were either knowing or unknowing, and funnel money specifically to Lynn Compton's, former supervisor Lynn Compton's campaign, and organizations that support them, and also Adam Verdin's interest. So this is what this was really about. People keep on trying to build, there's so much evidence online, on our airport. The last people were Jimmy Paulding and a group of environmentalists, namely the Surf Riders, the Oceano Beach Community Association, and the Oceano Economic Council. And they came down here trying to build on this airport. And the reason why I'm out here is to show you this is a low-lying area that fills in every year with water. Okay, just on the other side here, this is the Oceano Creek bed. The Arroyo Grande Creek bed. And this area floods every year. I mean, like clockwork. And every now and then, and about every 10 years, we have a really bad flood here. And our levee really needs to be fixed. But that, I don't want to get sidetracked with that. But the last time they came over here, they found out they couldn't build here. And this battle for the airport, it was so significant, it lasted about 7 years. Okay, Cal Poly wanted to develop the airport. So what they did was they used the United States Marine Corps' Toys for Tots to get people to come to the airport, because nobody was coming to their charity events. Nobody gives a shit about Friends of Oceano Airport. So they used the Toys for Tots event as an event for everybody to come and donate to them. Because I'm telling you 100%, the Marine Corps Toys for Tots program does not know Jolie Lucas nor her husband. They were never, ever a registered coordinator, a officially trained coordinator, nor an official drop-off site for anything for Toys for Tots. And what Jolie Lucas did was take the toys, diverted some to, we know she diverted a lot of the toys for the Salvation Army, which is a total different organization with with no permission from the United States Marines. They don't know who this woman is. Okay? The program, I've already checked it. I've been in contact with them. And so they're going to, they probably already started. I've talked to them a few months ago. They said they are definitely going to pursue this. So that's what we're looking at here. People that used a Marine Corps program without them knowing. People met at Adam Verdin's restaurant to plan these events. And when they found out that I found out, because I found out in 2024 for a fact, I called them and they said, no, we don't know who these people are. I said, you need to stop this. I have text messages from some of the collaborators saying they know and they don't care. They're going to do whatever they want. They're literally thumbing their nose at a Marine. And I was polite to them saying, look, what you're doing is wrong. You should probably not do that. I was very cordial to them. And I have all these text messages too, by the way. Who knew about this? Well, Linda Austin knew about this. For sure she did. I made certain she did. And why did I wait so long to say something about this? Well, because I kept on waiting for a response for everybody else to kind of join in and kind of say, hey, we need to stop this. But nobody really did. And it was a really eye-opener for me that nobody would even pursue something like this. Hey, you're actually taking money from the Marines, using their name and likeness to raise awareness for another campaign and taking the proceeds of that campaign and redirecting it to political people like Lynn Compton that support the airport and the Friends of Oceano Dunes. So the Friends of Oceano Dunes has nothing to do with it, but this is my whole point. They got all these people involved that had nothing to do with understanding what was happening. I'm telling you, Lynn Compton knew what was happening. There's literally so much evidence online that says otherwise. And she's already known to have a pretty slimy background with all her financial dealings with her business and all this other stuff. So back then she needed money for her campaign because her business was failing. She was going bankrupt. We found out later that her husband said she gave him PTSD. She was such of a wow monster. And then her and her daughter tried to take money from their creditors and hide it in trust funds, and they had to sue her for it. It was so bad. So this woman had every intent to get money and extract money from this illegal Toys for Tots toy drive, which also collected cash and gift card donations, which were never recorded, because if they were, the Marine Corps, let me remind you, the Marine Corps would know her name, they would know the amount. All of this is in their manual. It's like a 70-some page manual. It's called the Standard Operating Procedure. They weren't even aware of that, so I knew it was totally bogus. And let me tell you the thing that was most glaringly obvious, besides so many inconsistencies in what she was saying. The fact that she was telling people to fly in for the Toys for Tots, and it's going to be a Toys for Tots event. It literally said in the manual in gigantic highlighted black letters, never do what she just did. You cannot advertise to fly in or out of an event, because the Toys for Tots program would be responsible for any problems if somebody got killed. So she hired people that didn't have background checks at the Toys for Tots event, including her. She never had a background check to begin with. And if you look at her background, wow, her husband and her divorced because he had a different idea of a sex life. Let's just put it that way. You can read all about it. So we have all these characters here using a government program for their benefit, and then redirecting the financial resources and the media resources towards the airport, because again, the Friends of Oceano Airport would not get all the KSBY, all the media airwaves to save the airport unless they had the Toys for Tots logo, which they exploited. They exploited Marines. And you know where this money goes towards? Helping Native American kids read. Stuff like this. Lynn Compton stole money from little Native Americans that they're trying to help read on their programs. That's who Adam Verdun stole from, by actually helping all these people. They stole money from these people. This is how bad it is. And this is why it was so hard for me to come forward, because I know the Guyton families really well. I mean, look at me. I'm driving right on their driveway. And the reason why I'm here is to show you what's going on here, a perspective. People that are not from here try to build on our airport, regardless if there was in a floodplain and a liquefaction zone and a swamp with unstable land and in a nature preserve. Are we seeing this now? Because if you actually see it from this perspective, you'll understand this is a riparian district. This is literally a creek bed right here as I stand on the other side of this tree. Okay? They wanted to build here in a riparian reserve, in a nature preserve with all these birds, bumblebees, squirrels, beavers. The beavers go all through here. On the other side over there, there's beavers that walk all around through here. Okay? There's even a beaver preserve over here with the Guyton's name on it. So the Guyton family, the reason why I didn't want to say anything is because I know all the family members, and they know Adam Verdun, and they love him. And some of them like Lynn Compton, okay? And a lot of them like, Jolie Lucas. A lot of them don't know her, but Linda knows Jolie Lucas. So they went and stabbed who in the back? They went and stabbed the Guyton family in the back because they promoted these events unknowingly, that it was not related. And keep in mind, I want to remind you of something. I'll wait till this airplane passes through here. I love that we have our own airport. Check this out. People can fly in here and okay. Pretty cool, huh? Go down here. So I think some of these people are training too. These people do train out of this airport, my understanding. So I'm going to get back here behind these trees to sort of muffle that sound so we can carry on the conversation. So I know all the Guyton family, and the Guyton family were the ones who built the airport. Let me make that clear to you. They're the ones who built the airport for the county. And so I know all the family members, and they know all these people too. And so, fucking airplane. Come on, Daisy. This is the Guyton's front driveway, believe it or not. So, this is their driveway. I used to take my car down here before it was overgrown. But this is the creek bed down here. It was just like yesterday, I was walking through here with some people. But yeah, this is where we're at. This is the nature preserve. This is the creek bed down in here. I don't want to go any further because there's really no room to go farther. But yeah, the Guytons were the ones who built this airport. And a lot of people are friends with, especially Adam Verdin, and they don't like to hear this about him. But that's what he did. Now keep in mind, I want to make this clear. They started this when Larry Austin was still alive, Linda's husband. Linda is a widow of a sheriff, a deputy sheriff, and a Marine. So can you imagine Jolie Lucas staring, Larry in the face, acting like this is a legit, and he's donating money, and the Guytons are donating money to her as if it's a Marine. Do you realize they have a pole? I don't videotape in their pit area because that's their private area. They have a pole dedicated to Larry and the Marines inside of the pit that I helped put in with Carl and Linda 2 years ago in honor of Larry's death and his service to the Marines. Do you know what a slap in the face that is to this family? I didn't want to say this and hurt all these people. And then everybody get down on me and give me the silent treatment as if I did something, because people really like Adam Verdin. But you have to hold your friends accountable. And Linda and I had talked about this a couple of years ago when I said, you just need to stay out of this and take care of your health. I will deal with this with the Marines, because this was very overwhelming for her to kind of shoulder, because she was dealing with her own issues. Everybody's got issues, and she doesn't need this shit. So I just said, I'll deal with it. So she's always been a supporter of the Marines. And keep in mind, we have other people here too. We got, Tony. He's a Marine. He's over here giving money and stuff to this organization, the Friends of Oceano Airport, and the Toys for Tots program. He and his wife, Carrie, they work locally, and everybody, really. Who are these people over here? How's it going? She's friendly. Yeah, she's friendly. Are you scared of her? Sorry. How you doing, man? I'm just filming the video. So yeah, you can see they're using this trail. I'm just filming an instructional video. Come on, Daisy. Cute dog. So you can see our neighbors use this for exercise and leisure, and bring their dogs. And everybody's really friendly, you see. But this is why we need to preserve this area. So the reason why also I reported too was because of the Marines' rules about 1/8 of an inch. And once you don't start dealing with the Marines and you don't follow their 1/8 of an inch policy, man, they're going to throw some paperwork at you. I feel bad for you, because it's not like the county. There's no nepotism with the Marines. It's all business. And the business side of it, they're full of power, soft power, not just hard power, soft power. And if you cross a Marine, and if he wants to use that soft power against you because you stole from the Marines, you funneled the Marines' money away from their programs to your political benefit, away from young Native American readers and other programs that the Marine Corps uses those funds for. The Commandant of the Marine Corps is going to come after you with 1/8 of his stick of power. Now remind you, this is a man that commands people that are fighting spectral warfare. and other planets and dimensions. You mess with him, you're a piece of cake, man. You're a cakewalk. And we have here in the people in this county that don't mess around with veterans. Who do you think Dan Dow is? Whose sides do you think he's going to be on? He's going to be on the Commandant of the Marine Corps side if you cross the Marines and steal from them. I guarantee you people are going to have to pay some restitution minimum, especially Jolie and Lynn Compton. They should have known. You can't have events without Marines actually at the events. No Marines were actually at the events. No Marines actually facilitated these events. They took it upon themselves to use the logo, the name, the likeness of a program they were not even involved with. This is how bold these people are. Period. That's according to the Marines now. I've already checked. They do not know any of these people. With the exception to, obviously, Larry Austin, because he's an awesome Marine. And he wouldn't stand for this either. How do you think Linda Austin and her family feels about it? Linda Austin, the widow of a Marine? How do you think she would feel? That's why I told her, let me handle this. Because this is overwhelming for her. Too many things going on. This field where this man is mowing, her grandfather built that runway. They sold that land or donated it to the county, one of the two. They built that airport. Her grandfather's airplane is in the museum across the street over here. Okay? At the Guyton Lagoon. There's a big room over there. You could see the plane. How do you think this family's going to feel? So I'm the douchebag that has to inform everybody, and people are going to be mad at me. Obviously, this has happened before. The things that I'm concerned with, what happened last time was people came to my house with taser weapons. People came to my house threatening me, and nothing was ever done. Nothing ever. I don't want that to happen anymore. Okay, so I'm going to give this video to the Commandant of the Marine Corps and the General of the 4th Marine Division, the Commanding General of the 4th Marine Division. That's the Reserve Division, because that's where the buck stops. That's where the 1/8 of an inch stops, right there. And the fact that this went on for 15 years under the guise of a legitimate program, and you had all of the media reporting that this was a legitimate program, aiding and abetting them, unknowingly, of course. They didn't know. KSBY didn't know. Slow New Times didn't know. Slow Tribune didn't know. But should have they known? There were so many red flags there. They should have known. And Lynn Compton can't say she didn't know. Hell no. That woman has such of a frivolous ass background of just grifting everybody that she comes by. I mean, the way she treated residents of Oceano, she should be ashamed of herself. So that's what we're talking about. People that are disrespectful and despicable to disabled veterans, okay? So when you start fucking around with veterans, they're not going to take your shit. I guarantee you. They're going to stand up for their rights. They're going to report you. They're going to hold you accountable, and you're going to pay restitution in this county. Guarantee you. Because I'm going to give this to both of those people. And a more finite report on all the evidence that I've collected for the past few years on these people. So that's why. You see, the whole family knows a lot of these people, and they have relationships with them. However, it's going to change. How do you think Linda feels, really? The one who supported this a lot too, and her friend Lynn Compton, the stab in the back that her friend Lynn Compton is stealing money from a Marine Corps program that's diverted from an illegal toy drive. This is what I'm talking about. This is the type of stuff that I'm not scared of talking about anymore, because I talk about it in private with Linda sometimes. But now I'm going to expose all this. And she knew about this, part of it, not the Lynn Compton part. or the Adam Verdin involvement, because she's not really paying attention to all this stuff. She's got her own stuff at the depot and OCSD. And there's a few people at OCSD that knew about this too, that just didn't say anything. And VACO. There's a few people at VACO that knew about this, and OCSD. And they were just too scared to come forward because they didn't want to be targeted. And every time they come forward with things, they're not heard. And they don't have anybody backing them up. So it's just a learned helplessness over there. So I'm not helpless, man. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. And people need to stop stealing from the Marines and exploiting our goodwill and using our good name for your own purpose, misusing our logos for your own good. Because I guarantee you, nobody would come to the Oceano, the Friends of Oceano Airport for their rallies without the Toys for Tots logo, name, and their reputation of the Marines, which they had no right to use, according to the Toys for Tots people that keep records of all of the people that work on the program. Because I'm telling you, in the Marines, there's so much damn paperwork. And if you screw up your paperwork and you don't have it, they're not going to even let you have a program there. And she supplied no paperwork, meaning she's not even a part of it. So there you go. Look at that nice plane. I don't know what color that is. Blue and white. It's a good looking plane. So she compromised the trust and relationship of people here at the airport that trusted her. Okay. She compromised her friendships with people in Oceano. So did Lynn Compton. So did Adam Verdin. And all these people, the relationship with the media. Okay, so they lied to the media. They lied, they embarrassed our whole community, and they embarrassed the Marines too, because again, this went on for 15 years without the Marines even blinking. So that's why people are hesitant to come forward, because of all the stalking, all of the hate, all of the everything that comes from reporting something about people that are well liked in your community. Look at that. Yeah, I have text messages and other pictures and stuff that people aren't aware of that shows intent and the willing disregard for the law, because again, this is a government institution. And if you do that, keep that in mind. What if somebody went and said, hey, dude, I'm going to use the logo of Old Wands to attract people over here to my house for this house party, okay? And then I'm going to do all these things that Adam Verdin would never approve of if he had his label on that house party. Well, that's basically what he did. Adam Verdin had a house party with the Marines logos. And once you start fucking with the Marine Corps' logos and try to replace it with your logos, you're going to find out what's going to happen. You see? Adam Verdin and his flying burritos. Go infantry or go home.